You wake up again, groggy, exhausted, wondering why your life feels like it's stuck on repeat. The alarm clock blares and the day stretches before you, heavy and unyielding, filled with tasks you've procrastinated on and dreams you've long neglected. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. You tell yourself that a single day doesn't matter. But deep down, a quiet whisper nags at the edges of your mind, a voice you've tried to ignore. This is why nothing ever changes. The truth is simple yet terrifying. Progress isn't about massive leaps or overnight transformations. It's about the tiny choices you make, repeated relentlessly, invisible at first, almost imperceptible. 1%, one small action, every day. That's all it takes, and yet you've ignored it, dismissing it as insignificant, convinced that the grand gestures are what will define your life. But life doesn't reward grand gestures. It rewards consistency, repetition, the patient accumulation of small victories. You stumble to the kitchen, pour yourself a cup of coffee, and stare blankly at the counter. Your mind floods with thoughts of failure, of dreams postponed, of opportunities missed. You've spent years waiting for motivation, for the perfect conditions, for some external spark to ignite the fire inside. But motivation is a myth. It's fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind, and the only thing that truly moves the needle is action, however small, repeated day after day. You glance at the notebook on the table, its pages empty, a symbol of all the plans you've yet to execute. You remember the ideas that once sparked excitement, the visions that once made your heart race, and yet you froze. You overthought. You hesitated. You believed that perfection would come first, that clarity would arrive before action. But clarity never comes before movement. It comes through movement. It comes as the result of doing, learning, adjusting, and doing again. The streets outside your window glow with the morning light, golden and warm, a promise of possibility if only you could seize it. You imagine the city alive with people moving forward, small steps stacking into momentum, lives improving imperceptibly until one day, you look back and realize that the transformation was massive, and you didn't even notice it happening. That could be you. It should be you. And yet, you remain paralyzed by the fear of starting too small, the illusion that tiny efforts are meaningless. The first step is almost laughably simple. Make your bed, brush your teeth, write down one thing you want to accomplish today. Tiny, insignificant, unremarkable. But if you do it consistently, it compounds. A single completed task signals to your mind, I can do this, I am capable, I am moving forward. And momentum grows slowly at first, then exponentially. Each day you follow through, you reinforce the habit. Each tiny win stacks atop the last, building a foundation no grand gesture could achieve alone. You remember your failed attempts at change, the diet you abandoned, the project you quit, the habit you couldn't sustain. The pattern repeats. Enthusiasm bursts forth, then fades, replaced by guilt, self-loathing, and resignation. The cycle is familiar, suffocating, but this time, something shifts. You recognize the pattern. You see that the problem was never you. It was the scale at which you tried to act. Too big, too overwhelming, too all or nothing. The key is the 1% rule, the understanding that imperceptible, tiny improvements are far more powerful than sporadic leaps. You step outside, the sun warming your face, and feel the world move around you. People rush past, caught in their routines, chasing their own versions of progress. You realize that most of them, like you, underestimate the power of small actions. They wait for the perfect day, the perfect moment, the perfect condition. But the truth is, perfection never arrives. Time doesn't wait. Life continues, indifferent to hesitation. And the people who succeed are those who start small, start now, and let their actions accumulate day after day until change is inevitable. You return to your notebook and pick up a pen. One task, one tiny goal, you write it down. The weight of the page feels heavy, yet liberating. This is not just a list. It is a declaration of intent, a commitment to yourself. And as your hand moves across the paper, a subtle shift occurs in your mind. Doubt doesn't disappear, fear doesn't vanish, but they no longer dominate the narrative. They exist, but they are secondary. The act of starting, however small, asserts control over the chaos inside. The first step is followed by the second. A brief call made, a small email sent, a single paragraph written. Each completed action sends a ripple through your consciousness, a signal that you are capable, that you are progressing. And as the day unfolds, you notice the difference. Decisions become easier. Momentum builds quietly, almost invisibly. Confidence grows not through declarations or bursts of inspiration, but through the simple accumulation of consistent effort. You walk through the city streets, imagining the invisible chain of actions linking each day. Tiny wins today become habits tomorrow. Habits compound into routines, routines stack into achievements, achievements evolve into transformation. The 1% rule is deceptively simple, yet brutally effective. It doesn't promise immediate results, but it guarantees eventual change if followed patiently, persistently, relentlessly. Hours pass, then days, then weeks. You maintain the habit. Tiny tasks, small decisions, modest victories, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, the world shifts. Your body grows stronger, your mind sharper, your work more disciplined. Opportunities that once seemed unreachable now appear attainable because you have built the capacity to act, to follow through, to endure. The tiny wins accumulate, and the landscape of your life begins to change. You glance back at where you began, at the weight of inaction that once suffocated you. And now through the lens of repeated effort, it seems almost laughable how paralyzed you once were. The world hasn't changed, only you have. The 1% rule doesn't transform circumstances. It transforms you. And in transforming yourself, the world shifts in response. The journey is not glamorous. There are setbacks, doubts, moments of despair. But the rule remains: small, consistent action compounds. Every time you follow through, you reinforce the trajectory. Every day you repeat the practice, you build resilience, discipline, and progress. The victories are invisible at first, but they are accumulating, stacking like bricks, forming a structure of undeniable strength. Months later, you stand in a place you once only imagined. Your projects are moving forward, your skills sharpened, your confidence unshakable. The transformation wasn't dramatic, it wasn't sudden. It was almost invisible, the product of relentless, tiny improvements. And yet the result is undeniable. A life once stagnant now flows with purpose and momentum, all because of the small steps you took consistently when no one was watching, when it felt meaningless, when doubt whispered that it wouldn't matter. You finally understand the truth. Progress is not measured in monumental leaps or grand gestures. It is measured in the invisible accumulation of consistent effort, repeated day after day, compounded over time. The 1% rule is not a trick, it is a principle of life. Apply it and transformation is inevitable. Ignore it and life drifts by, dreams unrealized, potential wasted, opportunity lost. You look back at the person you once were, paralyzed by indecision, and you smile, not out of arrogance but relief. You acted. You chose the path of consistent, tiny action. And now the world, once heavy and insurmountable, bends gently to your efforts. What once seemed impossible is now inevitable, because the power of 1% compounded relentlessly creates miracles. And in this moment, standing in the glow of accomplishment born from persistence, you finally feel it. Hope, not as a fleeting spark, but as a steady flame, built from countless tiny victories, illuminating the path forward for the rest of your life.